Well, the weather's warming up, and it's a beautiful time of year to maybe get outside, take a look around your land a little bit, and inspect some of those trees you might have up close. And I want to introduce you to somebody that spends some time looking at trees up close and determining whether they're sick or not. And that's Dr. Katarina Villarry. Good to see you out here,
Hi, Nick.
Doc.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm so glad you're with us because Dr. Villarry is a forest pathologist for the Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources. And Doc, I got to ask, for the folks at home wondering, what in the world does that mean? What does a forest pathologist do? What do you do?
So as a forest pathologist, I study diseases of trees. So I look at their general health, and then I try, if they're sick, to determine what's making them sick and identify the disease agent. It could be a fungus, it could be a virus, it could be a bacteria. I try to identify what's making the plant sick.
And you are doing that not just with your eyes, just looking at the tree. Maybe you are, but what are some ways that you're studying that sickness, and why should we care about a tree being sick?
So yeah, you start with the eyes. That's the first thing that you do. You look for symptoms, you look for things that are off from the normal behavior of the plant. If a plant used to have a color of leaves and have a different one, that's a sign that something is going wrong. But that's usually not enough. It's very hard to determine a disease just by looking at a tree. And so what we do, it's doing DNA analysis. So we extract the DNA of the plants and we run some tests to see what's inside this plant, what organism.
And talk about interesting, you know, most folks might not realize that there is DNA in a tree that you can extract. And that's what I want to do next. I want to visit and talk about how you extract that DNA and what you're looking for in that to make a conclusion about whether a tree is sick or not and then what to do about it. So let's head on over there next. Well, me and sharp objects. I can already see these little twigs shaking right here. And Colton Meineke is sitting with me. He's a research professional with the Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources. So nicely to wear that today. Colton, walk us through, how are we going to extract DNA from these little pieces of wood so that we can determine whether it is diseased or not?
Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a symptomatic tree sample here. It's showing a little bit of discoloration under the bark, so we're going to collect some of these pieces of bark, and we're going to pull all the DNA out of it, the DNA of the plant and maybe the DNA of the disease-causing organism. So we took those pieces of wood and we put them in this extraction buffer with some steel beads, and we shook that up to release all the DNA from that sample.
In that solution, it comes
from that
out.
solution,
okay.
right.
All right.
And so Nick, what we'll have you do is we'll have you take your filter paper dipstick, and this is just a tool that we can use to soak up a little bit of DNA without any of the other contaminants.
Okay, so I'm going to dip it in like this.
So you'll dip it in there like that.
And then what?
And that should be good.
Okay.
You'll take it out of there.
Put the lid back on.
Put the lid back on.
Wow.
And then you can take this wash buffer tube.
Okay, WB, wash buffer, okay.
And you'll just
put it in?
dip it in there a couple times, and that's going to wash away everything except for the DNA, because we want to hold on to that.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is you'll take that and you'll put it right in this well here.
Yes, sir.
And what we have here is our reaction mixture. And so that is going to take the DNA of the disease-causing organism, if it's there, and it's going to make a bunch of copies until we can detect it.
Interesting. And then it goes into this machine right here, which is over on this side. And this is the same kind of machine that we could use to determine the results of a COVID test?
Exactly. And it just works on the principle that you take a very small number of the disease-causing organism's DNA and you make a bunch of copies so that it's easy to tell if it's there.
Interesting. So what I want to do is I want to put it in here for the purpose of time. We're going to let some time go by, about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to talk about the results. So let's check them out next. All right, Doc, 20 minutes have gone by. Test results are in. We're looking at a curvy line. What's the result?
Well, that means that the tree is actually sick. It's positive. The test came out as positive. That curvy line means positive. It means that the twig that we were testing, it's infected with laurel wilt. Wow. That's an invasive species that we have here in Georgia, unfortunately. And in this case, what we will have to do is to cut the tree.
Wow, and that's pretty much the only thing that can be done is removal.
For this disease, yes, because we really want to avoid for the disease to spread to surrounding trees.
And look at that proactive approach that you're taking, is looking at this, testing, and then making a management decision. When you mention invasives, I know the folks at home maybe heard of some other invasives. What's some other invasive diseases we need to be concerned about?
Well, we had in the past some pretty nasty one. Chestnut blight, for instance, or Dutch elm disease are the most famous one. And now we're past the problem with those.
Which is a good thing, right? And thank goodness for folks like you as a forest pathologist doing this. And I tell you what, I hope you've learned a lot about this today. I hope that while you're online, maybe taking a look at where your local county extension agent might be to answer more questions about this. While they're online, they can look up some things that are going on the Farm Monitor Facebook page. Maybe you can look up the Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources. Doc, I'm so glad you're with us today. For the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you as I always do, that enthusiasm is contagious, so pass it on. Y'all, thanks so much for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you right back here again, this time next month. See ya.